Welcome back to Desk Careers. I am so excited to bring another incredible guest. Today we are speaking with Elham Tolouei, who is an aerospace engineer and also currently working as an assistant professor at Emirates Aviation University here in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Welcome, Elham. It's so great to have you with me today.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your invitation.
I'm so excited to be talking about your profession. I think it's an exciting time for aerospace engineers. Finally, the pandemic challenges seem to be lifting, and we can start to see the aviation industry coming out back to or even better probably than it was pre-pandemic. But before we talk about what you do as a professional, I'd like to go back in time to when you were an adolescent. Do you remember thinking about your future and wondering what career aspirations you would have? Or did you always know that aerospace engineering was what you wanted to do?
To be honest, at the beginning, I wanted to be a pilot. And I'm thinking most of the students that I have, they had the same dream, being a pilot, and it is like a big, huge thing up there. But the thing is that while I was getting to the end of my high school, I was thinking I'm very, very interested in engineering courses. And then just, let's say, combining these two together, I started to have a look at the aerospace engineering. It is not at the end of the day to be a pilot, but the thing is that it is very, very related to working with the aeroplane, trying to design an aeroplane. It is kind of related to that pilot dream that I had when I was a child.
Wonderful. And you're right. As young people, we kind of have these dreams of what we'd like to do, but as we grow older and gain more education, it's about tweaking those dreams and making them feel more realistic for what we want to be doing. So did you come from a family of engineers? Where did the concept of engineering come from?
Yes, I have only one brother, and my brother is an engineer. That's why when he started to be an engineer, that's my, let's say, inspiration to be an engineer. But my father is a teacher. That's why just studying and then looking at my brother being an engineer, and it helps me a lot.
Wonderful. And being female in this industry must also be quite the experience. And I know that's a topic that I want to get into, and we'll definitely dig deeper into that conversation. But let's go into the reality of what you do as a professional. I think, as you said, being an engineer and being a pilot, they're kind of terms that young people say they want to do, but it's until you understand exactly what it means that you can then make an informed decision. So take us through the realities of being an aerospace engineer, and then we'll talk a little bit more about teaching the practice of engineering.
You see, when you want to be an engineer, if you are asking me, my opinion of being engineer is, when I was young, I was thinking I need or I love some challenges for my life. Having challenges, it is happening during engineering courses. You have to put you in a situation that you need to deal with something to, let's say, to try to impose your opinion, your idea, your thinking into some real problem. This is engineering. But at some point I am a person that I want these challenges for my life. That's why I went through the engineering. Aerospace engineering is challenging for the, let's say, women, the engineering general. When I was doing my engineering, it was a huge challenge. Nowadays, it is way better. But it is good. It is a challenge. This is why I went for engineering. But being the aerospace engineer, I can say it is very, very interesting, because in your life, you are dealing with engineering, you are dealing with, okay, making this one. But when you are thinking about aerospace engineering, you are thinking a huge moving vehicle that at the end of the day, you are going to make it. Okay, it is not the same as piloting, because with the piloting, you are going to drive that huge vehicle, but it is very related to that one. That's why I chose to put myself in those challenges and trying to, let's say, end with the point that I can reach at least maybe 40%, 50% of my dream.
Amazing. So in being an engineer, this idea of finding a challenge and then creating the solution, the excitement of working in aviation, again, let's bring it down into more clarity of what can a young person expect on a day-to-day basis in the role of an aerospace engineer, not in the role of a professor. So if they were hired to be an aerospace engineer, what are the realistic things that they will be expected to do?
Okay, if I want to explain, it is like, if I want to talk about the job opportunity for one aerospace engineer, as a fresh graduate aerospace engineer, we have for sure a couple of opportunities. One of them is working with a huge manufacturer, huge aviation manufacturer, which they're designing the aircraft. Therefore, as even the fresh graduate aerospace or aeronautical engineer, you can work with those companies that designing, it is not new design. Designing is you can modify every single existing design and then work in that companies. Sometimes working for those companies, it is not, let's say, available for all the students. For example, within this region, we don't have a huge manufacturer company of the aviation. If you are thinking, we are thinking about the Boeing and Airbus. Yes, if you can go there, you can work in different teams. Most of the time, they have different teams designing, modifying every single pieces every day to modify, try to get less nowadays, which is very, very important. Design something which is with the less pollutions, with being a nice, perfect design. Therefore, working as an engineer, it is happening. Also, you can work with the aviation industry. For example, as an engineer, you can work with the any company related to aviation. Try to have or try to solve the problem. Customer comes, explain that there's a problem with the, for example, any aerial vehicles, any aerospace vehicles. This is the problem, and you need to solve that problem. Therefore, thinking it is like engineer as a designer. It is like an engineer sitting in the office, dealing with day-to-day problem, try to solve the problem. Company comes here, aircraft, it is here, there's a problem here in Dubai, something happening with the engine, they have no idea. You need to check, you need to solve the problem, what was happening with the engine, because the aircraft should go again back to air. You know what I mean? Therefore, as the fresh engineer, you have the opportunity to work with the companies, any companies related or working in the aviation industry.
Wonderful. Now let's put your hat of assistant professor on. You're an aerospace engineer, and now you're also an educator. What do you recognize from young people who start their studies in engineering that you think, I wish they would prepare them differently in secondary school so that when they get here, this could be a much easier and more exciting experience?
The one important, in my opinion, important point is every single student should know what is her or his interest. Because if you know what you would like, it helps you a lot in your career. Because thinking about studying at university and high school, there's a huge difference. in the university, you need to work more for sure. Then engineering courses, I can say they are not difficult, but I can say they are not easy. It means that if you have that goal, if you have that interest, you can easily follow, it is not pushing you hard to go with those courses, to try to study, to try to understand. And if you have that goal, it will be easy for you. But if you don't have that interest at the beginning, if you don't have, I'm coming to university only getting some certificate at the end of 4 years. If this is the case, usually it is not working. Therefore, my suggestion for the students is try to think, what do you like? Do you like to go through something difficult? Because it is not easy, it is for sure difficult. Then at the end of the day, you will end up to the point that, wow, I'm an engineer, that I can now work with the airplane, I can work with the aviation industry, I can work with the aerospace industry, I can work, nowadays, we are trying to go to other, I don't know, to Mars, to any other planets. This is all inside aerospace. Therefore, it depends. Getting to that point, you have to work very hard. Working hard, you need power. That power, it is coming from you, it is inside you, it is coming from your interest, it is coming from your goal. Therefore, first of all, thinking about your interest. If you don't like it, don't come for any engineering courses. Okay, we have business courses, we have the other courses. You know what I mean? Therefore, the first thing is thinking, just listen to yourself. Listen, what's your voice saying to you? This is very important. When coming to university, you have to work hard. You cannot compare it with the high school because the system is completely different. Then hopefully you can get through all of them and getting to the point that working in engineering. But most of the students, most of my students, they try to go a bit more further, because when you're getting to the end of these things, if you have that interest, if you have that goal, you're reaching to the point that say, no, I need more. Needing more, most of the students are trying to continue the education. Continuing education, in my opinion, it is much more interesting, because then you are trying to focusing on one specific area, which is more interesting compared to the previous study. But it depends on the students. The first things, try to be honest with themselves, and then try to choose something that they love it.
Fantastic advice. And I think anyone watching this, regardless of what university course they want to go into, I think what you've said is really important for whatever they choose. Now, looking at your academic pathway, you started your engineering course in aerospace, then you went on to get a master's and followed on with your PhD. Is that what every engineer should be doing? So if a young person wants to go down this path, should they be expecting to go all these years in education?
No, because I started as a bachelor, but end of the bachelor, I immediately continued for master. Then I was working for 3 years, but I was working in the research institute. During that 3 years time, I understood that I am now at the end, I am able to continue. I love to do research more. That's why between my master and PhD, there's a gap of 3 years. The reason is I was working. At the beginning, I had no plan to continue to PhD, but after 3 years working, I get to the point that, no, I love it. Now I can continue, then continue in PhD, but my PhD is in mechanical engineering, but in the fluid mechanics, which is related to my master, which is aerodynamics.
Wonderful. So if we wanted to go from university straight to work, what kind of education would a young person need to have?
Even bachelor, after 4 years, you can go and find a job with the bachelor degree. It is fine. It is okay. You don't need necessarily to have master or PhD to go. If you are thinking about finding a job or job opportunities and the level of education, usually we are saying that with the bachelor, you have more job opportunities. With the master, you are reducing your job opportunities. With the PhD, you are reducing more. It means that you have to love research. You have to love doing the PhD, because with the PhD, number of jobs available for you, it is way less compared to the bachelor. Therefore, if you want to get the bachelor and then go to the industry, go to some workplaces, it is absolutely fine, and it is much more easier for the fresh graduate students to find a job. But as I told you, you can go work for a couple of years. I did. And then after some years, you're saying, no, I want to continue my education. I'm thinking bachelor is not enough for me. Fine, continue to get master. It doesn't mean that you have to go all of them back to back from zero to end of PhD. No.
So it sounds like it's more of an intentional choice, that you see that added education would add value to your career. Wonderful. As opposed to, oh, I need this because I need to get a good job. Now,
because if
sorry.
Just want to say, starting at university, it is like you're receiving some knowledge. Okay, knowledge. It is like if you want to make something visualized for yourself, knowledge is some dots. Okay, therefore you are getting lots of dots while you are studying at university. These are the knowledge. Now you need to connect these dots. Okay, connecting these dots means experience. Okay, experience you can get more when you are working. Therefore, you can get your dots knowledge while you are at university. Then you can go outside and then connecting these dots, getting some experience. But at some point, you are thinking, oh, you need more dots. It is better to back and then continue. This is how
I love that. I love that visual. I've never I've never heard that visual before. Definitely going to be using it more with young people. Now, let's talk about those dots in the world of work. We have many critics of education that state academic education is irrelevant to world of work. Is that the case with engineering, or is it very relevant and very current learning?
I can say most of my students, they are saying the same. For example, they're saying, we are studying that specific course, okay? And that specific course, it is not only one course, it is course 1, course 2, 4 courses. Then they're saying, for what? Why we need these things to know? If you're going out and work, we don't need these things. Yes, you need. This is the engineering. You see, in the engineering, outside this university, you need to go and you need to solve a problem. You need to solve something related to the huge aircraft. How? The how it is. This is the question mark. How is you have to train your brain to solve immediately a problem, to create solutions. Not one. Usually, engineer, you have to create the solutions. What are the options that you have for this problem? Then think about. Try to, let's say, giving some points. Think about the best and the worst. These brain training, you need those courses. Therefore, it is not directly you're using everything at the university, but indirectly for sure, you are using those things. But
I love that. That's so great. Again, it's connecting those dots and understanding and training. If a young person wants to learn and come to university, where can they find you, Elham?
You see, we have at the university, we have the open days. Most of the time, I can say not 100% of open days I'm here, but 90% of them I'm here. Open days, it is for the high school student, for any students. You can come to the university. You can talk to all the lecturers that you want. usually we have a very short trip to show you the universities, facilities. And I'm 100% sure that every single university, they have an open day. If you go to websites, you can get all the information about the open days. Therefore, during open days, we are sitting there waiting for the students coming to talk to us, get some information, see the universities, see the facilities and everything.
Wonderful. So anyone watching this, if you are thinking to visit Emirates Aviation University, they're located in Academic City, which is in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Just before we say goodbye, I'm very conscious of your time. What are your top 3 tips for a young person? I know that following their interests was something you mentioned. What else would you recommend?
Then try to work hard while you are doing the courses within the universities. The other things, during the university's 4 years, don't think that you have to study, it is hard. No, it is a fun time for you guys. Therefore, don't thinking that you have to come here and then 24 hours you have to study. No, because some of the students we have, and to be honest, those students that are only, my tip, only looking at life, that you have to pass these courses and get the bachelor and that's the job. No, at the end of the day, they're not very successful. Try to enjoy your life while you are at university. Try to balance your life. Okay, maybe work a little bit hard, but you can I don't know, enjoy your life a little bit more. Therefore, try to balance your life, and then you can get to the point that you have a certificate, you have the bachelor, you can work as a professional engineer outside the aviation industry, maybe.
Thank you so much, Elham. It was so much fun talking to you today and learning about what you do and these incredible tips to young people. It's been such a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you everybody for watching. Today we were speaking with Elham Tolouei, who is an assistant professor at Emirates Aviation University and an aerospace engineer. Thank you for watching, and we will see you at our next Desk Careers Digital Spotlight.